Good morning, everyone. I'm going to wait a minute or so. I think I'm a tad early, maybe like 30 seconds or a minute. And I just realized that I decided to go live at the same time as National Wake Up Call. So I don't expect a ton of people to get on. So definitely I'm going to start out by saying that if you are watching this later and you have any questions, definitely post below in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you. I got my coffee here, so I'll just wait and see if anyone's going to get on real quick. If you see me glancing down a bunch of times, that's because I have to give myself notes so that I don't go off on tangents. If you are here live, awesome. Thanks for showing up. If we're not friends on Facebook, I can't see. It doesn't always notify me who's here. So just feel free to post in the comments. I'll try not to let it distract me, but also try to interact with you guys at the same time. So, good morning, Maggie. Thanks for coming on with me. Excuse me. So, all right, I'm going to get to it because I don't want this to be a super long training. So, today I'm going to talk about how to be successful as an introvert. So the first thing that you need to figure out is, are you in fact an introvert? So how do we do this? Well, I did some research. I knew that I had heard a podcast or done a training or something with Shalene Johnson before about being an introvert versus an extrovert. So I want to make sure that you guys don't confuse being introverted with being shy. Because you can be an outgoing introvert and you can be a shy extrovert. So don't think that they're the same thing because they're not. Being introverted or extroverted has to do with energy and how you feed off of that energy. So the best example that I can give you to figure this out is think of you going to a party or a big cookout or a wedding or something like that. Are you the type of person that needs to be the center of attention? You love everyone's energy in the room. You feed off of it and it fuels you and it keeps you going. Or are you the type of person that you love going to parties, you love socializing, but then all of a sudden you just hit a wall and you're done and you just need to go be by yourself and recharge? If you are the first person that I just described, you are an extrovert. If you are the second person that I just described, you're like me and you're an introvert. I had no idea that I was considered an introverted person because I do have a very big personality. I'm loud, I'm outgoing, I love to socialize with people, I love to talk with people, but when I get into a big group, I just kind of like sit back and I take it all in, and I hate being the center of attention. I was just talking about what I was doing this training on with my mom, and I was saying how, and she was like, I know which one you are, and I was like, actually, you don't, and she was shocked when I told her that I am an introvert, because I have such a big personality that you wouldn't think that someone who has such a big personality and is loud like myself, that I would be an introvert. But it makes sense. Like if I go to a party or a cookout or anything like that, I always make sure I drive myself because I don't want to feel like I'm trapped somewhere. I hate feeling like, because when I'm done, like that's it. I hit that wall, I'm done, I gotta get out of there. And I never knew that that was a personality thing. I had no idea. I just thought it was like a personal thing for me. So you want to make sure that you're determining which one you are, because that is going to help you in your success. How much do you enjoy being around other people? I love being around other people, but like I said, like my wedding, my baby shower, my bridal shower were the most awkward times for me. I love putting on, like hosting these things for other people and for them to be the center of attention. It's such a joy for me, but I in fact hate being the actual center of attention. So literally my wedding day, I pretended that no one else was there. I'm not even kidding. I just pretended it was me and my husband, and we had a cookout style wedding because I didn't want to feel like the center of attention the entire time. Not even kidding. So the more self-aware of who you are now, the better you can help yourself be successful along the way. This all has to do with self-awareness. That's why I wanted to point out to you those two specific qualities and differences between extrovert and introvert, because you cannot possibly grow into the person that you want to become if you don't know where you are now. And I actually wrote down these questions. You know, self-awareness is huge. And I literally, when you guys get off this live training, I want you to answer these questions for yourself, because that's going to help you determine how successful you're going to be. You need to know exactly where you stand right now. So, who do you want to become? How do you want to feel? Where do you want to go? How do you want others to feel? How do you want to measure your life? And if you can answer those questions to figure out where you are now and where you're going, that's going to be huge. So I'm a little all over the place. I write notes so I don't go off on tangents. Okay, now I feel like I'm an introvert also. Maggie, it's honestly, it's so, I feel like it's more common for people to be introverted. And if you're not an introvert, you chances are married to one, you know one. And like I said, I never thought that I was introverted. I just always thought I was kind of a loner. I'd rather be like by myself, hanging out at my house. I don't really like to go out a lot. But I love conversation and I love to be around people. So it was like really conflicting for me when I figured out that I was an introvert, because I was like, I didn't realize that there was a such thing as an outgoing introvert, but that's how I am. So an extrovert doesn't like being alone in their thoughts. They work better in groups and they love going to parties. An introvert typically is more sensitive. They feel responsible for energy of others. They feel others' energy and they take it on. Yes, exactly. They love being around people, but it's draining, and they can only take groups of people with tons of energy in small doses. So, perfect example. We went to, Christy hosted a team party for everyone at Summit, and it was awesome. There was so many amazing leaders there, and I wanted to talk to every single person, but I was like a clam in my little shell. I had so much I wanted to say and ask, but once I got there, I was so overwhelmed by all the energy. I was just like, ooh, and I kind of drew back. And I didn't realize that that was the type of person that I am. So introverts feel recharged when they're alone. When they're working alone, they find clarity because they can get easily distracted. So the goal is to make others feel comfortable being around you. And how are you going to do that in reference to your business? How are you going to use this as your advantage? Because I'm reading The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. If you're not reading it, you should be reading it. If you have read it, read it again. I plan on reading this book again because I have so much that I want to implement from it. But I just finished reading a chapter about disadvantages versus advantages. So you have two choices. Once you figure out exactly where you are, then you can figure out exactly where you want to go. And once you figure out where you want to go, you need to bridge the gap. How are you going to do that? You're going to need to write down all of the reasons why you feel being an introvert is a disadvantage to you. And this is your second action item. After you answer all of those questions that I asked before a few minutes ago about where you want to go, who you want to be, who do you want to become, how do you want to make other people feel. Once you figure that out, you can bridge the gap and say, okay, how is being an introvert a disadvantage for me? And I want you to list, I don't care if it's 5 reasons or 100 reasons of why you feel being an introvert is a disadvantage to you. And then for each reason that you come up with of why it's a disadvantage for you, you need to come up with a reason why it's an advantage to you. And the reason why I'm having you do this exercise is because this is what makes you uniquely you. I did this in reference to, being a Beachbody coach. What do I feel right now is a disadvantage for me? So, versus other coaches. And I came up with, that it's a saturated market. I'm not like the perfect cookie cutter girl. I'm not like blonde hair, blue eye, perfect body. I have crooked teeth. And all these other reasons why I feel like I'm at a quote unquote disadvantage in my business. And then I also came up with, okay, well, if these are the reasons why it's a disadvantage for me, why are these an advantage for me? Well, because nobody wants a coach that looks perfect. That's an advantage for me. I'm going to appeal to people that don't feel like they'll ever look perfect. I have scoliosis. Disadvantage, yes, but advantage because I can bring that to the table. I can look at the people who have lifelong illnesses or injuries that they cannot do anything about. They're uncorrectable. And I can teach them and help them. And that is how I'm going to be able to use my introverted qualities to an advantage in my business. So that's your second action item. So now what you need to do is you need to think about social media. Those who know you know how private you are, and all of a sudden you're sharing your story every day with them. So how are you going to breadcrumb all these little advantages that you have now come up with and breadcrumb them into your story on social media? How are you going to portray that on social media? Because the people that know you are going to be like, whoa, where is this coming from? She's such a private person. Because I always said, as outgoing as I am, I'm still very private. I was always like, keep my business to myself, keep my name out of your mouth, don't talk about me. And I would take on other people's opinions of me and worry about what people think of me. But the reality of it is, are you here for something that's bigger than yourself? Because that's what this is. This is so much bigger than yourself. This is so much bigger than any one of us. It's this huge accomplishment, even to just help one person. And that's it. I can't even put it into words how big it is and amazing that it is, because this opportunity is so great and so many people just don't even realize the gravity of it, that because they're so stuck in their little introverted bubble. So what you need to do is become self-aware of where you are, realize where you want to go, answer those questions, figure out your advantages and your disadvantages, turn your disadvantages into your advantages, and then that's when you can really grow into being successful. You have to be confident in where you are. And it's okay if you have qualities that you don't like about yourself, because now you have a place to start from. You have a leg to stand on, okay? This is a quality about me that I don't like, and this is what I'm going to do about it. And those are the areas that you need to work on with your personal development, like Leticia talked about the other day. You have to put everything together. It's a big puzzle. Everything fits together. So realize that you don't have to be perfect today, but you have to be working in the direction of just being better than who you were today and yesterday. So when you get out of your comfort zone and you're putting yourself out there, you're breadcrumbing your story, you're taking those disadvantages, turning them into advantages, and showing people that you're going out of your comfort zone, they're going to start following you. They're going to start following your story. They're going to start trusting you. And that's where your success is going to come, is when you build those relationships with people through social media, through private message, reaching out to those people and letting them know, hey, this is possible. This life is possible. I've done it. You've seen other people do it, and take what you're seeing from the other leaders on the team and make it your own. If you see an awesome post, then definitely take it, reword it, make it your own. Take the idea and run with it. And if you are like really struggling with being an introvert, reach out to someone that you feel is like you or that you look up to, and you might realize that a lot of us on this team are introverted. And if you're struggling with that, definitely reach out to someone that you look up to on the team, a leader on the team, even if they're not your direct upline, because they may be able to offer some words of wisdom. Make sure that you're staying connected to your why, and get uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, because the more uncomfortable it is, the more you need to share it. And I know I promised Christy that I would do it this week. I still have to go live and talk about my why, and I'm so scared to do it. I don't know why. I overshare sometimes with in person, but for some reason going live and doing it scares the absolute bejeebas out of me. But I have to do it. Promise Christy I would do it this week. So that's your last call to action, is to go live and share something about yourself that is not necessarily Beachbody related. It needs to be a piece of you, and push yourself out of your comfort zone. If you guys have any questions, definitely post below. That's what I had for you today. Make sure that you get your call to actions done. Tag your upline in the comments so that they can see what you have written. And I would love to know if you feel like you're an introvert and didn't know it. So I look forward to seeing everyone's comments, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.